Look, man. Where? Oh, I see. My, oh my. Bowen, look over there. Wow, is that culture? Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas calling.
Back in
Back in tactile.
tactile position.
The mozzarella stick
Oh,
numbers
fuck.
that you were working
So
with.
I don't know why this was the answer to how I should end my night. I get home, it's 3:30 in the morning. I get stoned and order mozzarella sticks. Bad, because I know I have to wake up at, let's say, 10 to sort of mentally prepare and, cleanse myself, really physically prepare for the podcast today. And last night I'm ordering my mozzarella sticks and I see it says 6 mozzarella sticks. And in my mind, that's not enough.
Right.
And then this morning, when everything sort of settles, you think you didn't need 1.
Yeah. That's the devil's math
That's
with mozzarella sticks. But I feel like
6 feels like nothing, right?
I think 6 is more than enough. When
Yeah.
I order mozzarella sticks, this is the last time I ordered mozzarella sticks was at Alamo Draft House.
What?
Watching The Boy
That's
and
the last
The
time?
Boy and the Heron. And I had to leave in the middle because of work call.
Of a work call?
They
Is that what you
said-
call violent shit?
No, it was not. What?
Because I know you.
You
The second we both went in here today, we both ran to the bathroom and I knew what that was.
No,
For me, it was a mozzarella stick
It
situation.
was a work call.
Okay.
It was a work call.
What was it about? Can you spill any SNLT?
It was last week when they were like, whatever, this is a peek behind the curtain. They were like, this is all to say I got 6 and I only finished 4.
That's a huge brag and an insult to me.
No.
It was ravenous last night for them.
But last night was very celebratory.
It really was.
It's very nice. I did great.
What an unbelievable performance she had.
Very, very fun.
And I think about between 12 and 15 people said this, and it just kind of kept getting kicked around. But
Yes.
this is like the Bell House. This is like the Bell House. But it really was. It felt like a celebration.
It was very nice.
We made it.
Proud of her. Now, what was your review of the Countess Cabaret?
I still have the shakes. Not necessarily because of the talent, but she was great. The Countess Luan as 54 Below she certainly has star quality. But there's something that happens where she steps on stage and sort of everyone looks at each other and you go, we're getting blacked out. We're all drinking so much tonight.
I asked you, was it like going to the Disney World character breakfast?
It was not unlike that.
And it was like seeing Goofy come out while you're eating a Mickey-shaped
Well,
pancake.
Let's say Minnie Mouse. Let's be kind.
Minnie.
Let's not say Goofy comes out.
Okay.
for the Countess Lou.
No, no.
Keep
That's
that
not
in. He's gonna want you to
That's
take
not
that
what I was
out.
saying. Lou, if you're watching, if you're
You're
listening.
just saying Lou had the impact of Goofy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like-
Not anything to do with.
The air gets sucked out.
Right, 100%. Like when Goofy walks in the room, it's like Nicole Kidman in the Chanel No. 5 commercial by Baz Luhrmann.
It's just like that.
You know the commercial I'm talking
I
about.
think so.
Speaking of fragrances, I want you to smell me right here and tell me what it is.
Okay.
Go. You know what this is.
Byredo.
No, it's Axe.
Oh.
So
They-
yesterday I said to Bowen, I'm like, I have no deodorant in New York. I don't know what happened. My New York apartment has no
Can't get it
deodorant.
anywhere.
And my mother was like, I want to get you something for Christmas. I said, don't. I don't want anything. She goes, okay, I'll get you a bunch of little small things.
Mhm.
10 Axe deodorants, which is both a trigger to like high school locker
Yes.
room and also quite out of fashion.
But that is like the timeless, enduring thing about suburban life is that you're never more than a half a mile away from
From an Axe body spray, especially from the Long Island. That's like a big culture.
No.
Axe body spray.
Yes.
And so I am walking around and it's sort of like a little bit of heaven, a little bit of hell. I am a little triggered, but also it's horny.
It's horny. Well,
That's why I wanted you to smell me, to get you horned up for the episode.
Speaking of getting horned up.
Speaking of horny.
Speaking of horny, I think everyone's horny for this. Well, first of all, Restless Leg Tour. We're talking 11 days at the Beacon?
11 days at the Beacon?
11 nights at the Beacon.
Well, I mean, yeah, I love my surprise. I'm like, well, of course.
Well, of course. And it's the Beacon. And
Love
so if
the
you're in New
Beacon.
York, I think they're all sold out, but
Well, yeah.
kind of elbow your way in.
Are you
You
going to
can.
sign the wall?
I
No,
hope so.
you-
Am I allowed to talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And obviously, if you guys want to come,
Oh, when is it?
it's
Well, I guess there's
the
11
7th
days.
through the
19th?
19th. Thank you for doing the math real quick.
I did the math. And 18th.
Okay, wait. Now we have to officially bring her in because
Okay, wait.
that can't be the entrance.
Hold on. Really
That
quickly.
was so weak.
No, not weak. Girls 5F is coming back on Netflix.
Okay,
season
thank
3.
fucking God, because I had been wondering about that.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Oh.
March is going to be a big month for
Major.
humanity. And Mean Girls the musical, of course, the movie. Oh, we're not calling it the musical. I'm sorry.
We're calling it Mean Girls 2024.
We're calling it Mean Girls
Which
2024.
I texted you about it. I said 10 times. I said it's called
Mean Girls 2024. Mean Girls, 8th note in the negative space where the A is.
Do you know what's funny? This person created and starred our favorite movie and our favorite show.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about Saturday Night Live, which also is in the top 2 of favorite shows under 30 Rock.
Oh, for sure.
Can you imagine, just go back in time and tell us in 2016 when we started this that Tina Fey is going to be on the podcast?
So Tina Fey's going to be on the podcast. And you know what I thought in the shower this morning? I thought,
What did you think in the shower? Where you do your best thinking?
This is where I thought Worldwide Pants took down all of the Tina Fey on Letterman interviews, and those were my fucking comfort watches in college.
Seth told you, though, that you could find it somewhere else.
I think Seth lied.
Liar.
Why'd they take them down?
I think Letterman wants to protect his content. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
I can't possibly begin to understand. And then also, so many things. You love her. You really love this person so much, don't you? I'm talking to you, the
royal you.
The royal you. Everyone welcome.
Tina Fey!
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Hi. And they applauded the crew.
Hello.
By the way, this episode is directed by Christopher Nolan. It's Oppenheimer, the film. It's crazy.
A lady needs a lot of lights.
And the gentlemen need a lot of
The
lights.
gentlemen need a lot of lights. Blow out the Countess Lu from my face.
Please.
Are you familiar with the Countess Lu?
Yes, that is the original sort of Real Housewives New York era.
Yeah.
That was my era. I once chased Countess Luann down the street on the Upper West Side because I was like, she's on the Upper West Side.
Yeah,
I chased her in front of
major.
that restaurant West that used to be there. And I was like, I basically was like, I was like, Countess, and I was like, I work at NBC too.
I'm a Universal girl.
We also work for Universal.
Yeah, we brushed elbows at the upfronts.
Yeah.
So wait, when you were watching Roni, like,
Thank
were you sort of like, I'm Bethany, like I'm like with
Well, first
her?
of all, no, I'm not Bethany.
No way.
Thank you. No, I used to watch the season 1. I used to really love like season 1. You guys
Yeah.
were probably in middle school because it was before nobody was aware. No one was like working the camera yet. Nobody was, and it was just really. I just wanted to see people's apartments.
I get it.
I wanted to see their apartments
Closets.
and make judgments, and I didn't need them to be fighting about stuff.
No.
I just wanted. And so who was it? You know who I was obsessed with at that time was Alex
McCord.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
bless.
that was essentially, had the show gone in a different direction, which was we just watched these people live their crazy lives and
Yes.
it wasn't like as conflict driven.
Yes.
She would've been a hero.
Been the show.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I think because people gravitated towards,
That's so funny though, because
fighting.
I think Architectural Digest home tours have like scratched the itch or like taken
Mhm.
over that little part in that fascination where we have of like people's homes, and like that's fully been supplanted.
Right.
And
and Zillow.
Housewives.
Just be like, just go on
Yeah.
Zillow
Right.
and look in apartments.
100%.
But I remember when she was redoing her Brooklyn townhouse and Jill Zarin came over and she's like, we're restoring the banister. And she was like, honey, you don't have to save everything. That's not a good banister. And Jill Zarin, oh my
Jill
God, she was
Zarin.
incredible. Yeah, who else was in that original?
Ramona. I just recently picked, for some reason, this was on. It was the fashion show episode where Ramona walked with those crazy eyes.
Yes.
And Jill is just dragging and just like killing it in the front row.
Yeah.
Comedically. Totally.
She was really on fire.
Yeah.
They kind of by like their second season. So this was not the phenomenon back then either, but it wasn't this thing where like they saw themselves for the first time on TV and then they got the work done.
Yeah.
On like just like facially.
Which happens to everyone. I mean,
Everyone.
you see yourself on TV and you go, oh no.
Oh yeah, breakdown.
Oh no, what are we going to do about this?
You're like,
And
that's
then you
my
make
face all the time?
Yeah.
People see my face as that?
Yeah.
Speaking of Universal, do you have any thoughts about this Epic Universe announcement?
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
My gut instinct is, oh, honey, it's SNL Mad TV.
Uh-huh.
That
You
there's
think
not
so?
the
Wow.
the tastemaker at the core
You're right.
defines the thing, right? And so Walt Disney is
Lauren.
but I'll go.
Yeah, no, you're going to be there.
But I'll go.
And we like Mad TV.
And there are amazing things at Mad TV and amazing, hilarious people came out of Mad TV, but
100%.
there just wasn't that unifying core
Sure.
taste.
Totally.
Well, what if I told you this? So one of the announcements they said was that there's going to be a Frankenstein ride.
Mhm.
And the star of the pre-show is Victoria Frankenstein, the
It's
great-granddaughter of
Dr.
Dr.
Frankenstein.
Victor
But is that the
Frankenstein.
Diablo Cody movie that's
That's
coming?
Lisa.
That's
Frankenstein.
Lisa.
I confused those. I conflated those last week.
Okay.
A lot of girl boss Frankensteins happening right now in the culture. We have to differentiate.
Universal's trying to use that,
I'm just saying,
the Universal Monsters catalog in fun
Yes.
ways, and I'm enjoying that.
if you went in there and said, I'll play Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, first of all, you'd book
Like
immediately.
17 shows a week, 17 9-minute shows a week.
Performing every day.
You wouldn't even do the pre-show? You should.
Would I do a queue?
The queue. That's what we mean.
The queue.
A queue. I mean, listen, in my heart of hearts, am I holding out for a Disney queue? Of course. Did I at one point try to volunteer me and Amy Poehler to do Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton for the Hall of Presidents? And they were like, we're good.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I only volunteered it to my friend who's like the guide. I didn't call it
Yeah.
to Sam.
Sam,
To-
by
to
the
the
way,
incredible
Sam is a huge part
Sam
of our life
Loomis.
now, too.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
We went there. He loves you.
Yeah.
I love him.
I know. You can tell it's a special relationship.
It really is.
The Disney relationship is a special relationship, and that's actually Roller Culture number 88.
The Disney relationship is a special relationship. God bless Sam, because Sam took us on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind no less than 7 times.
Which is not medically advisable.
No. Have you
not at
done
all.
it?
Yes, it's beautiful. But I'm an age
wonderful.
where like I can do it once. Also, there's like you don't not see a lot of protein spills outside Guardians.
Oh, 100%.
God.
And just for clarity, that is vomit.
Well, I've become that girl that's like, when the part of the ride that makes people nauseous comes up, I'm like, keep looking at the planet.
Yes.
Keep looking at the planet. Don't look to the side. You're going to fuck yourself up.
You
And
have your
people don't
strategies.
really listen.
You have your strategies.
Yeah, I have my strategies.
Yeah.
Well, I knew this about all of us that we shared this.
And that's
Love of-
why I bring it up.
And that's why, now correct me if I'm wrong, you've been on the Avatar Flight of Passage ride.
Of course, yes.
Don't you think that should be him in the pre-show?
100%.
Just explaining what the Banshees are.
You have the
Yes.
scientific gravitas to carry that pre-show through.
I don't want us to fully like raise the middle finger to that guy though.
It's not about him. This is about you. This is about what's best for you to be in that pre-show. He did fine.
The guy in that queue, and I don't know if this is a true story or a story that I made up for myself,
Mhm.
Either way.
but I feel like someone else was supposed to shoot that and then and something went wrong and they were like, you have to do it.
You made that up.
Yeah, I think you made that up.
Here's who'll know, Sam.
Oh,
100%. Isn't it great to have a resource?
Yes.
The Disney relationship is a special relationship. You go to that person for information like this.
Can I tell you a deep Disney nerdery thing?
100%.
That if it interests you, I could try to get you in on this.
Let's do it.
Okay, so have you ever done a voice at Pixar?
A voice at Pixar? No.
That's an oversight. That needs to happen.
Okay, good.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I think that's an oversight.
Famously, you have.
I got lucky enough to do one, but so the guy Pete Docter who runs Pixar, super
Legend.
nice guy,
Yeah.
legend, the kindest, loveliest man, and he invited me in on this super nerdy thing that sometimes they do where I guess they used to do it in person, but during the pandemic they were doing it over Zoom, where they just have literally like someone found a case of like weird B-roll building the park footage, and they just play it like they haven't seen it, and it's just like.
Wow.
From like 1971, we're building the Haunted Mansion. And it's just like raw footage of nothing but like guys working. And then there's experts on who, like, they're all these Imagineers who are talking about what it is. And then they just drink.
Really?
And it's amazing. And because it happens on the West Coast,
Yeah.
if you're watching it at East Coast, it's like it's like 2 a.m. and you put your laptop in your bed. And
Whoa.
Wow.
But it's so cool.
That was my dream, like until I found out it was mostly science and math, and you had to actually.
There's a lot of engineering.
There's a lot of
actually
engineering.
half of
Yeah.
the word.
Otherwise, the people fly off and then they die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Protein spills in the ride.
We need to reconnect with Sam.
Oh, Sam was lovely. Sam was really
Sam
lovely.
is a tour guide at Disney who's an icon and a legend, and this is a big shout out to him.
He's a great American.
He's a great
He's a
American.
great American. And then he said he was coming to see you and Amy. Was it?
He came to DC.
To DC.
He came like the first weekend.
What have the shows been? What's that like?
The shows are so fun. I do hope you'll come to the Beacon.
I want to come.
Yeah, please come. Bowen's like, I'm gonna stay quiet.
I'm coming.
We have the best time. It's the two of us. We take you on a little journey if we can, and we always have like one special friend show up,
Mhm.
and we go to these cities. People are so lovely to come see us, and then we like stay at a nice hotel, and I've said this before, but it is like we get up. Like the other night, I really did text Amy before a show, and I was like, right before we went out, she was on the other side of the stage. I was like, I'm getting excited about going to sleep.
Yes.
Because we have so much fun. Like I'm also learning, like I love the part where we do the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess some people go on tour because they want to party after the show or whatever, or they want to hook up. And I was like, I like the part where we do the show. And sometimes if we have a new thing and it works, I'm like, that works.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I like go home and I wash my face and I like stand in silence facing a wall. But the way I'm like, and then I'm like a little robot.
You leave, like you let yourself like charge.
And I'm like satisfied.
But I think this is just a function of like time. And I will say, I don't think it's exceptional if we go out after the show.
I mean, even yesterday, like we were in Bowen's dressing room, like, and Bowen comes in. He's like, "All right, so the after party," and we were like at the same time, like, we don't know, we don't know. It might be a quick drink.
They were hungover from Luann.
So hungover
I had
from
a
Luann.
19
But you guys
day.
look good. That's the difference. You still look really good.
I put on concealer because the
You put on
cameras
concealer today?
because I'm inches away from people.
I love it.
not,
Yeah.
If I knew how to do my own concealer, I would do it. Is it as simple as dot?
Kind of.
I don't know. I
Okay.
tried. I tried to do my makeup today, and I probably will see this and be like, "Oh, it was like coming from a matinee of playing Mrs. Lovett."
Did you see?
I'm always trying to use.
You did.
I didn't get to. My husband went. I didn't get to see. I was touring.
All
right.
Well,
There you go.
I try to use that Rare Beauty blush, which
Yes.
is great,
Oh.
but it's so pigmented that then I do it, and I'm like, I'm either looking great or Baby
or
Jane.
just Mrs. Lovett. It's Baby Jane.
Baby
Or Mrs.
It's
Jane.
Baby
Yeah.
Jane. It's Betty.
Have you been? Have you checked in on the new feud?
I haven't watched it yet, but I think I will. I don't watch every part of the
Murphyverse?
Murphyverse,
Yeah.
but that one I'm like, you might get me. I do feel I was like, okay, the PR is overtime because
Yeah.
there's so many articles now about. I was like, are we? This is really what we're. This is top of mind in every paper, but
Yeah.
but it does seem interesting.
It is a lot of fun to watch just because of the like, you know, the atmosphere of it all. I will say the entire story of it is just, well, you know, Truman Capote befriended these women and then he wrote an article and they never spoke to him again. And that's literally
and
it.
it's going to be
So I'm kind
8
of
episodes.
interested to see
Yeah.
how it's going to be a whole limited series
Yeah.
because even in the first episode, you get it. Like they're not talking to him anymore.
Right.
Right.
But then I'm thinking like maybe every episode will be like a bottle-ish episode and be getting more into the specifics of who these women were, which is
Mhm.
going to be great. I need more Callista though at this moment.
Mm.
I got 3 different line reads of Demi Moore calling Tom Hollander
A faggot.
a venomous
Yeah,
faggot.
she with her whole chest gets to say a slur, and it's really fun to watch her just let it rip. Let's just say they really let Demi go for it,
Yeah.
and she goes for
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And
Good
I
for
loved
her.
it.
Good
Well, I
for
do
her.
think that is, that he is giving these actresses like he's making people's phones ring.
Yeah.
Who maybe their phone wasn't ringing that much.
Molly
Yeah.
Ringwald's.
Yeah.
Like her phone rang off the hook for
Yeah.
this.
And you know what Molly Ringwald has been doing in the meantime?
Translating
What?
French books.
Translating
Wait.
French
Yes.
books.
Yes.
Okay.
Lie with me. It's a really sad gay French novel.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really smart.
She's very good.
I believe that.
No, she's incredible.
Yeah.
She's she's a great American.
Mhm.
Well, one of my
Yeah.
obsessions at this moment is Chloe Sevigny, now that this has all been happening.
Yes.
And apparently Chloe simply broke down on the day where she had to shoot with Molly Ringwald because that was how much
How
she
much it meant to her.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Wow,
that.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so
Like
sweet.
and Chloe, who's like the coolest, like you would imagine is like very unbothered about the whole thing.
Yep.
Actually, in interviews, like I watched her on Jimmy the other night, and she's very like she's sort of like very like y'all. You know
Like
what I mean?
y'all?
Like, she's like
Yeah.
like everybody.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
I cry, I break down to Molly Ringwald just like you, me,
Yes.
and everyone else.
Yeah.
That's the shared, I guess, American experience.
Yes.
I'm kind of tying this back to a national sort of narrative.
Mhm. Well, she also was like, they did this thing because like, you know, she's obviously a fashion icon, Chloe, and they were like looking back at all of her like
Yes.
iconic looks because she was like that.
She
fashion
really
girl.
was. Yeah.
She had nothing nice to say about anything she ever wore. She's like, oh, this no, this no, this no, and I was like, maybe that's what makes her such an icon.
But she also
is
needs
the-
to keep looking.
Exactly.
She didn't just find a uniform and stick with it.
No,
She was
right.
like never satisfied.
Never.
Have we found our uniforms?
This is your uniform.
Sure. Okay. This is a cream colored, long sleeved collared.
You're
It's an-
very, like
it's
a strong
Is it a
basic.
knit? Is it a sweat? Is it a?
It's a sweat. It's
Mhm.
like a
It's a sweatshirt
it's a
material.
sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's good.
So, but I don't know if this is the uniform though. It's the glasses. It's the
I mean, yeah.
that's it.
You've changed your glasses though.
We're in the last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had my contacts in for the show, and then they had to audition different pairs of glasses for the sketch. And then one of them had an actual prescription in them. And I was like, oh, this one has a prescription in them. And then my
They're
dresser, Audrey, was like laughing, and she was like, Keenan earlier had the same thing happen to him, and he said, "There's medicine in these."
There's medicine.
There's medicine.
There's
in
medicine in these glasses.
By the way, Kenan Thompson, and I'm not,
Legend.
and this is perfect, but this is truly like an apropos thing for me this week, where he was up till 4 a.m. with us shooting this sketch. Just rallying everybody, keeping the morale up, like getting everybody to like out of like the 4 a.m. overnight shoot, like doldrums or whatever.
Team captain vibes.
What
Absolutely.
a treasure.
Mhm.
And
Again, as we continue to make the list of great Americans,
Yes.
who do we have so far? We have Sam Loomis, Keenan, who was somebody in
Chloe
between.
Sevigny?
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, sorry, Chloe.
I mean,
You're
Chloe.
a great New Yorker.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing New
Yes.
Yorker.
Top
tier.
20 New Yorkers.
Top 20 New
Absolutely.
Yorkers.
Up there with Hamilton.
What up there with Hamilton? And do you have any thoughts about what she has said? I guess in a Rolling Stone thing about how New York is all Lululemon and dogs, too many dogs. But as a recent dog owner,
Yes.
what do you make of this? Like, and as someone who's been in New York for a minute,
Yes. Are there too many dogs?
I haven't noticed anything.
There's a lot of dogs. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I don't go to like the dog park and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have people that do.
Yeah.
My dogs poop inside every single day.
Oh,
Beautiful.
really?
Oh,
Is that
they're
still-
a mess.
Consistent places. or-
Sometimes I'm like, guys, I'm the Queen of Versailles.
Yeah.
I can't have this.
No.
And the dogs are like, we haven't watched that.
No.
Have you watched the series Queen of Versailles?
No, someone just told me about this. I will watch it. I did recently rewatch the original.
Excellent movie.
Fascinating, incredible.
The series is a little bit of a cheapened version. I'll say.
Mm.
I'll say that on the record. But
Well,
there,
because like all documentaries, not all, but
Yeah.
a lot of great documentaries, they started thinking it was going to be about one thing,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then it changes. That
Yep.
usually is exciting in a
Yeah,
doc.
yeah, yeah.
yes,
Was that like the most famous example of that is probably the Jinx, right?
is the Jinx.
The Jinx and also Capturing the Freedmans.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Uh-huh.
have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, because it's supposed to be about this guy who's a party clown, and then
Uh-huh.
it turns out that he has this dark family history, and they follow that. But you know that Silly Billy, the party clown, used to play the SNL holiday party up on 17. He would come and do like party
When?
clown stuff, like when I
Well,
was
you
a
were there?
writer, when like Norm Macdonald's son would be there, that era. So, and so I saw the doc and I was like, oh my God, that's Silly Billy. Oh no, Silly Billy's family are
Oh, now
child
we know.
monsters. Oh no.
Did the
He
party?
wasn't. He was not.
What do you mean he did the party?
There used to be a little, you know what it was? They would have, when the tree lighting was happening,
Yes.
they'd have bagels and stuff,
Bagels,
and
they
people
still
would
do
bring
that.
their kids. Yeah.
Oh,
And
they
they-
would bring their kids to
Some
that.
people would bring, you know why? Because Lauren's kids were little. That's why.
Oh, that's why. There
Yeah.
are no children about.
Yeah.
It's just the bagels, and it's like, and picks, and like the meeting's happening. Like your sketch might get picked, it might not. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of weird tension, but then the lighting is always a beautiful moment.
It's a nice moment. But we were talking, you asked about New York, and does New York have too many dogs? Probably. Does it have too much Lululemon? I mean, it's a mix. In my neighborhood, it's a mix of like, there's a Lululemon and then everything else is vacant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I'm in
It's
LA
not great.
most of the time where it's just all dogs. And so I just
Right.
kind of accepted that me not having one is I'm wrong.
Right.
And I should get one. I also like now I'm starting to feel a little guilty that I don't have one. I like,
Oh,
do you remember when I hosted that dog grooming
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hosted a dog grooming competition show called Hot Dog, HAUTE.
Sure.
excellent.
And there was a day where it was like Rescue Dog Day.
Oh,
And they made me hold one of these dogs and give a direct to camera,
Mhm.
like, don't you want to save a life?
Oh.
Like, how would you feel to know that you could have saved a life but
Right.
didn't? And then I like handed the dog back and I was like, okay, see you guys
Anyway.
later.
Anyway, best
and then
of
I
luck.
felt bad. It was like, we need to help.
we need to help.
But the message was, that was the help.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
did the PSA was the help.
I did my thing. I can
Yeah.
be fun uncle to these dogs,
Yeah.
actual children.
Yeah.
I'm ready for parenthood with the dogs though.
With the dogs.
You want one? Well,
I
he would be a
can't-
great dog owner.
But
If
I
the schedule's
can't
tough.
do it with the
Yeah.
schedule.
Because no one brings their dog to SNL.
Oh, people bring their dogs to SNL.
Really? I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that would be a bridge too far.
There's a couple people, but it's fine. Like they
They stay in the dressing room.
They stay in the dressing room, or sometimes they'll bring him out. It's okay.
That's a different world.
okay.
It's a different. Yeah, would never have flown.
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Right now, I think post-pandemic, we're all like, we've had a rough couple years.
Yeah.
Bring
Let's
the
Let
dog.
everyone have what they need.
Let's
Yeah.
make sure
Well, just the-
everyone's fine.
yeah.
Which I culturally must feel
Mm.
wild. I remember. Well, but this just comes with starting out there. No matter who you are, no matter what job it is, if you start out there, it is always hard. And it is always a cultural adjustment. But I just remember a time like pre-pandemic where I was just like, oh, I was terrified every day.
Yeah.
Every day I was shaking.
Just to be there.
Just to be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would have never thought to.
Yeah, I went there. I was 97 when I went there. And I mean, that I see with clarity now, like the 90s were so rough. Like rough. Like,
in what sense? What do you mean?
Like people were, like kindness was not in fashion.
Oh, no. And it would get worse from there.
And no, mental health was like, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's why everyone ended up with some form of like temporary kind of OCD and PT, like, but I'm trying, even just when you look back at, you just look back at like 90s Letterman interviews.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, oh my gosh, he's just like haranguing a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
that dumb slut. He got her.
Exactly. That was the culture.
That 55-year-old man told that dumb teenager.
Paris Hilton will never be the same after that.
Well, but like the Paris Hilton thing, I mean, it's rough. Like I don't like celebrate that interview necessarily.
Yeah.
It is incredible. And it's Letterman
so funny,
being
but
the most Letterman in the best, not the best way, but in a way that you're like, it's Letterman. Right. And then, I've talked about this before, it was the thing that like Anna Dresden and I watched and we're like, so I guess the iceberg should be like, I want to talk about this thing and not talk about this other thing. You know what I mean? Like we like, modeled it after that interview specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we watched that. We were like, okay, so like,
I just want to talk about
my other thing. Yeah, but it was like, but that's like, that was the 90s too. It was like really fucking making you squirm a bit. And I don't know
there's just were so many things. Even people like, if you've seen that, again, these are all people that I told nothing against them. Like, there's some old Conan clip where the lady from Melrose Place is on.
Heather Locklear? No.
No. Oh gosh.
Someone else.
The other blonde lady.
Let's say Jenny Garth.
No,
let's not say Jenny Garth. Let's in fact say.
I want
Marcia Cross.
No.
I wish.
No.
Laura Layton.
No.
Becca.
Courtney Thorne Smith. Thank you so much.
First of all, thanks for
thank you. I believe it's Courtney Thorne Smith, and I forget. Maybe it's like I don't know if it's Conan on one side and Norm on the other side or something. And they're just like doing a bit, like some kind of bit that she looks really hot or whatever, and she's just trying to tell her story from whatever it is, the pre-interview of like a funny thing that happened to her. Yeah. And it's like two maniacs on either side of her, and you're just like, oh yeah, that we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
But at the time, it was like ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those are like Conan is a lovely, kind, evolved, intelligent person. We all were. I should probably try to think of a story that I tell on myself instead of like.
No.
But there were like, we were just hard. We were hard people.
I think at that time, like too, like, and then we had Seth Meyers on the show like probably about a month ago, and he was saying that like the best time, like that he felt like the winning season was probably like 2008, 2009. Like obviously when you
went back,
Sarah returned. Do you feel that way too?
Well, I feel like that was a crazy good time, and Seth was head writer and was doing a great job, and the world wasn't as dark. And for me, I was like sort of like felt like that was my like prayer for Owen Meany moment where I was like, was I born to look like this lady? I guess so.
Yeah.
But now it all seems so gentle.
Yeah.
Right.
I was there. I remember I was literally there. I remember one of the coolest ones was the Weekend Update Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh yeah, they used to do specials, right?
Yeah, the Thursday thing.
Yes.
They would add those things, and I was at the time like a standby person. Like I would wait all the time.
Yeah.
And so someone at the line like was like, yeah, they give us tickets to the Thursday thing, so here you go. And it was you, Will Ferrell, and I guess Daryl Hammond, right? Like
doing,
and he was doing Bush and stuff.
Yep.
I think I remember that was the one that my parents were like, that was a little too far. Because they're Republican.
Right.
Oh. That was a little too far.
I forget what it was. Yeah, I don't remember what the jokes were. But they were on board till then, and then they got back on board. It wasn't a rift.
They forgave.
Totally. This is personally important to me, and I will never forget this. But I matriculated to NYU, lived with my sister, was not in student housing, and so I was very socially anxious about meeting new people. And I had researched the improv group at NYU in April of senior year of high school. And I'm reaching out to the Facebook page, throwback, and I messaged the Facebook page, when do you guys hold auditions? Does it work against me if I'm not in Tisch, if I'm just a science major?
Does it work against me?
Does it work against me? I was so...
I know.
And then
the
person who answered me was Anna Dresden.
Yeah.
She was like, hey.
So funny.
She's so funny.
So funny. But just like, cosmically, there was something about that. And then she was like, don't worry. Good luck with your mini-fridge rentals. Like, bye.
Yeah.
And then auditioned for the improv group, made it to the final round. And then I was like, I really hope I get this. Got the email from Anna Dresden saying, we're so sorry.
Oh, fuck.
We were floored by everybody. Please start your own groups. We shouldn't be the only game in town, blah, blah, blah. It's a game in town being NYU. Like the only improv group at NYU. I was like, okay, licking my wounds. My sister had gone out. I had the apartment to myself. It was Saturday. Michael Phelps episode of SNL. Tina and Amy were just going on as Hillary and Sarah.
Yep.
I get the call during the cold open live from Anna being like,
we made a mistake.
We talked about it, just kidding. We're taking on 2 people and you're in the group.
Yeah.
And then it was like this crazy shift.
Yeah.
Like something like...
The culture decided to be good.
No. It was just
It's like, it's gonna be a good time.
The trajectory was like perturbed in like the best way for
It's a
me
little ricochet
possible.
moment.
But like you were like the fact
I caused it.
But you
Yeah.
caused it, and no matter what, you were like,
And Amy didn't. It was
and
just
Amy,
me.
it was
Yeah,
you.
no.
It was you. But anyway, that's what I like will always fondly remember. Not that
Oh,
you.
that's a great memory.
Anyway, but
That's a great memory.
okay, but is this the thing then? Like starting at SNL when you did, or coming back, whatever the after party culture is at any given time,
Mhm.
is that informing what you and Amy do after the show? Where you're like, well, let's just go to bed.
Oh no! I mean, we used to. I mean, when we were at SNL, we used to go out until I had my first child,
Yeah.
and then I would sometimes like begrudgingly go
Uh-huh.
out, and they're like, "You have to sit with Lauren." I'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I think
But
I'm at that stage, but I'm childless. I'm a childless
Yeah.
homosexual.
but we used to go, but I never was an after. That was always like,
I
Yeah.
can't imagine what that would even be.
no. I remember. I feel like one time Tracy Morgan had like he did like an illegal private casino somewhere that Dratch went to, and like the next day was like, it was insane. Like she was.
Of course.
I
Of course
mean,
it's insane.
but speaking of all this culture,
Mm.
so that we're talking about, in many ways, culture that made us like culture was for us, but we have to ask you this question. And
Okay.
it is, of course, a difficult question that is really open to interpretation. But Tina Fey, what was the culture that made you say culture is for me?
Okay. I've been thinking about this question. I struggled to understand it, but I think I'm going to try to frame it like, have you ever done those I am from poems?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So if we frame it that way, I'm also much older than you guys. And so I'm really going back. I may say things that mean nothing to you, right?
We'll
I'm
see.
Try us.
like, I am from watching Benny Hill as a family.
Good for
Okay.
you. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Watching a weird old man ogle women in bikinis being like, this is formative. I
as a family.
As a family, like it's on PBS, guys. Let's
Gather
watch it.
around.
I am from, a time when we would just, our whole life was you go to Blockbuster,
Yep.
you rent The Stepfather, you rent the now incredibly problematic Sleepaway Camp
Oh.
1 or 2.
yeah.
That's like, and you watch it with your, gay friends
Uh-huh.
who, again, if you want to talk about how hard it is, like
Right.
cackling
Yeah.
at like knowing like it's horrible, like
Yeah.
or like it's me and my best friend Marlene going to Pretty Woman when it first came out and immediately cackling, being like, we're the only ones that know that she's a sex worker and this is grim, right?
Uh-huh.
That like,
Yeah.
okay, this week it's Richard Gere, but every
What's happening
other
next
week,
week?
it's terrible,
Yeah.
cackling. What else? I mean, Real World New York season 1.
yeah.
I remember getting up early with my brother to see the beginning of MTV.
Wow.
beginning.
The first video.
Like downtown Julie Brown vibes.
like video killed the like let's
Yes,
put it
yes,
on.
yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Getting up to see Live Aid
Yeah.
and being so pumped that it was
Yeah.
partly in Philadelphia. And being
Wait,
like,
it was?
you guys, like, Phil Collins is on the Concorde. You guys, Phil Collins is on the Concorde.
Wow.
Yeah, it was for whatever reason, because the quality of the venue, it was in wherever it was in Wembley, I guess.
It was Wembley?
And like Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia or something. Must have been the Vet.
I'm silly and stupid, and I thought it was just in the UK.
No, and that was the big thing was they were like,
Freddie Mercury,
Phil Collins is going to play with this band and then get on the Concorde and play again. It's, what else is formed who I am? Sheila E., The Glamorous Life.
Wow, thanks for that.
Right?
Kelly Clarkson just brought her back. Sheila E.'s on Kelly Clarkson's album, and I feel like no one talked about it. Yeah, she's on the last track, and she's tearing it up.
Yes, like
Sheila
that's
E.
Yeah,
We gave her a special culture award.
Sheila E?
We did. We gave her
God, that's right.
We gave her something. She's been recognized by this podcast.
Good. I'm glad.
As she must.
What else can I give you? The Divinals. I touch myself.
Oh yeah, please.
That was like me trying to have no success, trying to convince people that our junior prom theme should be "There Must Be an Angel" by Eurythmics. Nobody was.
Theme is There Must
I was
Be an
like,
Angel.
just gonna keep writing these papers and putting it in the box. No.
What was it? Ultimately, Under the Sea. They needed to get real.
Well, it was like Bryan Adams' Heaven.
Okay.
And then I think maybe senior year was maybe like This Is the Time, Billy Joel.
Wow.
Which was a new song.
Yeah. I love that.
This is the thing where I go, how would I have done? How would any of us do in like a bygone time?
You would love it.
The Blockbuster of it all really resonates because it's also about going to Blockbuster and only ever renting two things.
Renting two things over and over.
Over and over.
Over and over. Watching another one was like Arachnophobia was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's a Martin Sheen one that I can't think of that was like a horror movie. Maybe that's right. And like also is with my two good friends, Jim and Damien, who are brothers, who between the two of them are the amalgam that are the basis for the character Damien.
Of Damien.
Yeah. And they had in their house, they had a back staircase that had been closed off and made into a pantry that was full of every kind of junk food known to man. And we would just go over there and get after it. And also just like
get after
it.
Like it was the 80s, like no one did fitness.
Yeah.
Or your outfit was like a high collar thing with a blazer.
Yeah.
And like it was just like
Drinking
and there were no
soda.
phones.
Did you drink a lot of soda?
Drank so much soda.
So much soda.
Would eat like a cheese hoagie. So like a 12-inch hoagie with 3 kinds of cheese.
Yeah.
Really
and then
Philly.
still able to poop.
Yeah.
'Cause I was young.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
The body hadn't yet betrayed.
Yeah. And just I'm trying to think culturally too. It was like, it's like V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic.
Flowers in the Attic.
Reading those on like the beach at the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Or like on the trolley to work. And like SCTV used to be on after SNL three weekends a month. And then the fourth weekend it was wrestling, and you'd be like,
Who did you imprint on SCTV? Was it Catherine?
Oh my gosh.
Or Andrea
and
Yeah.
Catherine.
Yeah.
For sure.
Andrea
Just
gives
so
me
aspirational.
the frisson, as you say. Did I use that right?
You used that right. You absolutely used frisson right. Frisson is the word of 2024. It's like
we need Molly
that
Ringwald in here to
feeling.
translate.
It's just like a feeling of like it's just like something in the air.
The
just
euphoria,
shifted.
like when something is like, oh, I have the frisson thinking about this.
Like the
when we mentioned
chills,
Sam
the tingles.
before.
It's the tingles.
I got the frisson thinking
The
about
frisson.
Sam getting us on
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
That's a beautiful ride.
I think that the boy music thing is like, that is also a thing. Like the men of the 80s and 90s.
You were allowed to be,
But like there was something, I'm going to say like set aside like whatever, like ogling and stuff. But like the men of that time,
hot.
I sound insane for saying this.
You don't.
You could look up to men in a way that was like fine.
Yeah, you can look up to men and be like, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
You weren't worried about what they were up to. Maybe as much.
Yeah.
But
It's not even that. I mean, I think they were good Americans.
Good Americans. That's going to be the name of this.
That's the name of this episode. No, literally, Good Americans with Tina Fey.
But we also were like Janet Jackson, Madonna, Go-Go's, like that's the Eurythmics. I remember when Eurythmics came out, like when the first, Sweet Dreams came out.
Yeah.
And we were like, people were scared of them.
Yeah,
You were
well,
like- it was
it's
like-
a bit different.
And like she had that short hair and she was wearing a suit and everyone was
Yeah.
like, what's happening?
She was haunted pop. And even when she did like diva and like did do her own thing, like it was still, there was something sinister about it in a way that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Or just gender bendy or.
the song Why by Annie Lennox.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I want that as I'm lowered into the ground, I think.
Mm.
Remember
But
that.
I do say revisit There Must Be an Angel. It's
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
Okay.
And also, I mean, Walking on Broken Glass, like there's a reason for it.
Yes.
Someone's going to sample that song and it's going to be,
Just the piano.
Whereas
It's going to be on
Spice on
Stranger
this.
Things or something.
yes,
Oh,
100%. Yeah, like that song taking off the Kate Bush of it all.
People, I'm happy for the rediscovery as a
You
culture.
guys talked about this, that's the year of the needle drop.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you watch The Bear?
No.
Okay.
I have
so there's
seen some of them, but not all of them.
Yes.
There, probably one of the most famous needle drops of this year is Taylor Swift Love Story on The
Okay.
Bear.
Oh, they did that?
They did that.
Oh.
And to get the Taylor Swift song must have cost a lot of money. So thankfully it paid off
Yeah.
on The Bear. The Bear, you're doing excellent.
Yes.
You guys are crushing it out there.
They really are.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's so wild to see her like slay drama like this.
Io? Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I
Good for
have to go back and get into it so I can see where her character arc went because
I know.
She's so good. And I think it was like, I always like, of course, like coming up with her, like we always knew she was so talented. But then I was watching Bottoms. Did you see Bottoms?
Yes.
I was watching her on screen. There's
She's
a
very
scene where the
good.
camera gets way up in her face. And I think she's having a moment with her love
Havana,
interest. And I'm
yeah.
like, you got it, girl.
Yeah.
Like,
She has
she got it.
Big time.
We were
Big time.
we were in the edit yesterday for this pre-tape. And every take I was like, oh, Io knows.
Pops.
She knows
Yeah.
where to find the
Yeah.
camera, but like, and then it would cut to me and it'd be like, what am I doing?
Shut up.
No.
But when
It's-
you know what to do with the camera.
do we all have this? Do we all have this thing where it's this? There is some dysmorphia. That might not be the right
Mhm.
word, but it's like I think it's getting worse and worse for me in terms of watching myself.
I've reached a point where I don't do it. Like
You just
unless
don't.
unless it's something that I'm in charge of and it's like I have to edit it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make this movie and I have an idea. I'm never gonna watch it.
Yeah, I got it.
And that's
Wait.
like freeing.
Yeah, you know, when it came out about the Four Seasons,
Yeah.
the gay group chats were popping
Of
off.
course.
That's
good
really
to know.
exciting.
Very
I'm excited
exciting.
about that too.
Yeah,
We-
this is
we're-
going to be good.
I hope so.
That's a good link up again with Tracy and with
Oh, with Tracy and
Becker.
Lang, the best.
And Lang,
Tracy,
yeah.
Tracy Wigfield and Lang Fisher.
Oh, yeah, that's
gonna
super
be
funny
good.
writers.
That's
I just
very cool.
like the like gays that remembered the movie were like they were very very
Totally.
excited.
Oh, that's great.
Oh no, yeah, they're lining up already.
Mm.
I can't get over that my two movies from Blockbuster were The First Wives Club and GoldenEye.
That's
That was my personality. That's where it
GoldenEye.
started.
Okay,
Like
First
that
Wives Club.
peer-
that makes sense.
Yeah, First Wives Club. Though you watch it now and you're like, it's so a movie of the 90s.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it takes a bit to get into being a movie.
Yeah.
And then,
yes.
then it is. You know what I
Yes.
mean? But I kind of missed the days where
I
it was just
know.
like, no, the first half hour is just going to be a lot of relationship building.
Yep.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
But is it any first doc stuff that like actually ever pays off in the end? No, right? That felt like a 90s thing where it was like, you just...
I think it's all worth it to watch them at the end sing You Don't Own Me. And I
First
can't
Wives
remember
Club.
anything else about the movie besides
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know who else you forget is in that movie kind of crushing it is SJP.
Yeah, she's great in that movie.
So good.
She's great in She's great in that movie. She's great in LA Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh,
She's great in Ed Wood.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think I've seen Ed Wood.
That- this is
Wait a
that's
minute,
good
Bowen.
one.
Ed Wood is so
Mm.
great.
That's a really good
Okay.
one.
Okay, I've got 2 weeks off.
yeah.
I'm not doing
Ed
Wow,
Wood.
you do have 2 weeks off.
So excited. I'm
That's
not going
great.
anywhere. I'm going to the Beacon.
I was gonna say, except the Beacon.
Except the Beacon.
So wait, when you would have a vacation from SNL back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, would you go or would you just sit? Would you bed rot?
I think I mostly just sat. I feel like
Yeah.
people at SNL do much better sort of self-care and living their lives. But I think in the beginning, my now husband was still in Chicago. So sometimes I would go back to
Oh,
Chicago
nice.
for the
Oh,
week
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. But no, I never took one real vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just still learning how to do that. I'm like, oh, right, you book a trip and then you go there.
But
Yeah,
can-
right,
Can I
exactly,
say
like that
I've
can
never
happen.
developed I think my time is up. Like I think if I haven't learned by now to like book a vacation on the 2 weeks off, then like
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't think I ever will for my remaining time there. I'm just like, I don't have that thing of like that admin thing of like, let me book
Mm.
an Airbnb or something.
Yeah.
So I think I think there's something about working there that like makes you want to stay put because you're just like moving around a lot or something.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
need to recover. The thought of going to the airport doesn't
No way.
seem good after that.
No.
Never, ever.
I did too much of I literally did this when you were in town last season where I would like do a show on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
My flight was at 8 a.m. after daylight savings, after the spring clock jumped forward. So I lost an hour and then went to the airport to go to London to then shoot. And I was just like, this is CTE. This is like, there's a part of my brain that's leaving.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think.
Oh my God, that sketch last night when I was like, and when the wind blows, I can feel my memory. Who wrote that?
Shout out to Asha Ward.
Hilarious.
She is crushing
She's a new young writer. She co-wrote this elevator sketch with us as well.
That was great too.
She is so damn funny. And yeah, no, she said that line to us on Tuesday night when she was pitching it, which was like kind of like going around with the idea. She was like, "Yeah, it's based off this People's Court, this actual People's Court episode where the plaintiff did have like the haircut was." Her scalp was showing, obviously, not her actual brain. But then Asha's like, I think we're going to make it her brain in the sketch. I was like, that's amazing.
Yes.
And then Asha goes, yeah, and I think I wanted to say, when the wind blows, I can feel my memories. Like, when it's windy, I can feel my memories being blown away. And I threw my head back. I was like, you have to put that in.
Yeah, you must.
You must. Yeah.
I did want to ask, so like, when you're at SNL and also you're at the same time writing Mean Girls, like, I guess what I'm wondering is like, how long did it take you to do that? Because I remember like literally at the time reading interviews with you where you were like, I just wanted to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And then you so obviously could. But like, what was that process of like juggling that? Because that seems like a lot of work all the time.
I am trying to remember. I know I did a bunch of it in the summer. I feel like maybe it was over 2 summers because it was the first time we rented a house in Fire Island on... We both love Fire Island.
We all love Fire Island.
Anna Gasteyer had recommended this, like just doing that. And we went and we picked a desk and we carried it. And I remember Jeff's arms got like a huge, because it's not Fire Island if you don't get a weird rash, right?
Oh, no.
And he like immediately got a rash. And I was like, I think there was deer pee all over the desk or something. And so I must have been doing first draft the first summer and then the shooting. I remember the second summer was the shooting draft because I would get Mark Waters, the director, I would get pages of notes every single day. And I'd be like, I think I did it. And then be like, okay, let's go through today again. He's like, page 4. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
But he was right. It was like, it was stuff of like, where are they? This, that, could this be short? Like, it was like a lot of technical stuff. And there was a amazing woman named Jill Messick who worked for Lauren at the time, who she also was just like poking me, okay, like a lot of drafts in between unofficial drafts that, so I don't think I was doing it. I must have been doing it on weeks off.
Yeah.
I don't have a memory of doing it, trying to do it at the same time as the actual show.
Like only because like, and obviously like the movie is so perfect. It's just everything. It's one of those things that like just falls into place in every way. Like I remember we were saying, it was one of those movies where you sat down and watched it and I knew I was going to and had to remember every line that was happening. I saw it with my cousin and I was just like, this is a really special thing. And then going to school, I remember like, I was like, all the track girls, I used to run winter track. This is a specific, but I would run track and I would practice with all the girls because we would just talk about things like this.
Yeah.
And everyone knew
it.
Wow.
All the lines.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I watched my one friend I could tell she wanted to be like Regina George in a way where she didn't really get it. I was like, you don't want to be actually mean. Like, but the way she started speaking, I'm like, it truly
pervaded.
Took over. I remember it was that and Anchorman.
Yeah.
Where it was like, and I remember as a gay kid too, I learned the language of Mean Girls because that was where all the girls were doing. And then Anchorman was what all the boys were doing. And so it was sort of this like code switch.
You had to code switch.
Yeah, but it was, and I remember taking my dad to see it and like he was so excited because it was coming from you. And I remember it was just like this like moment that felt like a unifier like in high school because everyone thought it was funny. Everyone thought the cast was amazing. And I really wanted to ask about Rachel McAdams because this is essentially a Rachel McAdams Stan podcast.
Yes.
We could just talk about her and no one
and we
else.
should.
Absolutely.
But like I was reading an interview with you recently where you were like, you mentioned like watching her act like changed the way that you approached it.
Yeah, because I had never been in a movie before, and I didn't know what I would go and to be in the scene. I'd only done SNL, and I wasn't even really in sketches on SNL. I just did update.
Right.
And so I would literally be like, in my head, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm on camera right now. So I'm going to try real hard every time.
Yeah.
Like, didn't know to even ask, like, what if I'm in this part of the setup.
Sure.
Right.
And her performance was so small that I remember being worried and going to Mark Waters and being like, I don't know. And then you get the dailies and it was like, perfection. But it was it was small. It was a film performance.
Right.
It wasn't like me, like,
We talk about that all the time, like the sketch mentality of coming in one mode, especially like, because we didn't have any acting training coming up. We were like creatures of the basements, like any of us. And then all of a sudden, you book a thing where you have to be on camera acting, and they're like, "Hey, just throw it away." And you're like, "I don't know what
does that
are you
mean?
talking about?"
Yeah.
What are you talking
But you learn. But the difference is then when you see sketch people, when you see people on SNL, when you see someone like Io who understands the assignment, to use a now old phrase.
Yeah. It's back now, though.
It's back. I brought it back. She understands what she's supposed to do and what sketch requires, and then you compare to. Not name names, but you see people who come in who have only ever done film, whose performances are built in the edit room, who have no internal sense of pacing or even energy.
Yeah.
And they can fuck up a show.
But they can slay the pre-tapes.
Slay the pre-tapes.
Pre-tapes for them. Pre-tapes.
Literally, all we want to tell people now at SNL, like all I tell the hosts all the time on Wednesdays, especially at the read through, I go,
fast and loud.
We were just like, just do it fast and loud. Fast and loud.
Wow.
And that usually
is plenty.
Dials it in. It's plenty.
Yeah. That's what Amy talks about because we do a Q&A in our show, and like we often get asked, like, who are your favorite guests and stuff. And she's like, I love athletes because they're used to being coached and they don't care. And you can just be like, just do that. They just do it louder and like say it like, and they're like, okay.
You also get a sense that anyone with like a Disney Kid pass comes in there and tears it up.
Yep. Also, by the way, people who have done, there are fewer and fewer of these people, but it used to be people who had done soaps. Because you know who's got his start on soaps? Alec Baldwin.
Wow.
Julianne Moore.
Right.
Yes, Julianne Moore.
Make a choice and go.
Get Lisa Rinna to host.
Oh, come on, Lisa. Julianne Moore, I think, I think our favorite movie of the year is May December. We fucking love May December.
That's your favorite movie of the year?
We love May
It's
December.
up there.
I enjoyed it, but it
that
was
Poor Things were my...
I haven't watched Poor Things yet.
Oh, you'd love it.
Oh, you'd like Poor Things. Yeah. It's great. Emma's another one. Like, comes in and like just tears up SNL, obviously.
Gets it,
And gets it on it on camera, obviously. Yeah. But what was I saying? It was like, the May December of it all. Yeah. Julianne Moore, I guess, because what's so fun about the movie is it's like purposefully a melodrama, right? That insane music.
That music when she's like, we're out of hot dogs.
Yeah. With her insane accent. But then she was talking about, like, she's like, well, I started in soaps and I actually did the archetype of like,
the twins,
the evil twins, like the amnesia twin.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even just amnesia or just twin. It was both.
Wow.
Acting opposite herself, wanting to kill herself.
Incredible.
Kill the other. But
that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Wait, you said that about Alec too, though, where it's like the Rachel McAdams thing, where it's like just
so quiet.
Where you're like, is this gonna work? And then you watch the dailies, you're like, oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah. It is. And sometimes and real stars, they don't really do what they're gonna do till you're on their close up. And so, you look at those first 2 seasons of 30 Yacht Rock and I'm like, hey, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you won that one, sir.
You won that one.
It really is wild though, because I remember you do a take and they're like, okay, we're moving on. And you're like, there's no way we can. I didn't do anything. Yeah. And they're like, no, you get the performance of a lifetime.
No, we loved
you just won't ever know because it wasn't fun for you at all.
Right, exactly.
But it worked for us.
Yeah.
Back to Mean Girls really quickly.
Yeah, please.
I think, how many times did you see it in the theater? Because you brought your dad.
3. So I
saw
4.
Oh my God,
for you.
Bless your
4.
heart.
Oh, come on. I mean, like, first of all, like that, and I wonder how this feels too. Because to join this thing of like, it was like Heathers, it was Clueless, and then it's Mean Girls. And that has to be really meaningful.
Very meaningful to me, yeah. Because those, Heathers and Clueless were hugely formative. Yeah.
I mean,
this is my thing. This is my specificity with it. Is there was like a website 2004, 2005, in that time of the internet called like the script database or something, and they would either have the screenplay, the original screenplay of the movie, of any movie you could think of, if they had it, the original actual like, PDF or the scan or whatever of the script, or they would have a transcript. And then I remember reaching out to the admin of that, being like, I will transcribe Mean Girls for you.
Oh.
And then he's
And
like,
did you do it?
and I did it. And then
That's breaking news.
And this guy was like, God bless you. The demand for a movie has never been higher than for
the
Mean
fact
Girls.
that you did
And
that
I was
is
like,
so funny.
I'm gonna do it. And I wrote the fucking
Oh
the
my
slugs and the
God.
You wrote
descriptions.
Mean Girls.
I didn't write. I transcribed Mean Girls. I was like,
You were Molly
How old were you?
Ringwald.
14.
Wow.
Oh my
I was.
God.
This is what I said. I said, I can get you the script. And then this guy, this like 30-year-old man, was probably like, you mean the actual like Tina Fey like draft? I was like, no. I'm just gonna type out what they say. I like didn't know. I didn't know what he
That's
was
all the
looking for.
script
He was
is.
like, I don't care. I'll take a transcript. I was like, oh, yes, of course, transcribing. Yes,
Wow.
I will write out what they say. I'll say, Katie says that. Like,
yeah.
That was the level of
That's
like
crazy.
fucking yeah.
There's like joy in every scene. And I guess what I feel is like, you forget like that such big deals came out of that movie too. Like Amanda
Yeah.
Seyfried, like she's just so in
Yeah.
the fabric of the movie,
Yes.
having fun doing her part that
Mhm.
you forget that she would then become like
An Oscar
Amanda
nominee.
Seyfried. Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
And
like
McAdams,
that
too.
down to everything. And I
Mhm.
wonder, like, in shooting it, did you know that it was like? Did you have a feeling that there was something special happening? Which feels like a question, like
I know.
a boring question,
An
but like
impossible
because it
answer.
did
Yeah.
end up being culturally significant.
Thank you. I feel like part of the reason that it worked is because those girls were so legit and took
Mhm.
it seriously and
Yeah.
played it so real,
Yeah.
if they had been campy about it. Because I think that's the thing I try to sometimes pass on in whatever writers' rooms, whatever. Is like no villain thinks they're no one's the villain in their
Yeah.
story.
Right.
Like Regina's whole thing is like, it's hard. Like she's gonna come crying to me and then I gotta help her. Like
Yeah.
it's no one's the villain in their own story, right? And I think they all played that perfectly because and you can see now, like, oh, Regina's a villain, Janice is a villain, Katie's a huge villain. Like
Yeah.
everyone's making mistakes, and they played them all perfectly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think I was just at that place of like, they're gonna. It's like basically like, is it gonna air? Like
Right.
we're
Yeah,
gonna, it's gonna get made.
Yeah.
That was the triumph in my mind.
That's refreshing to hear because I think Matt and I are in that mindset right now where we're just like we're working on things and we're just like, let's just not worry about the contours of this. Let's just like, the goal is just to get it made.
100%.
Period. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I read this book. I think it's called like Wild and Crazy Guys, and it's just a little nonfiction book about that span of time where like it's like Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy,
Yep.
Bill Murray, Dan. It's like all of when they all were blowing up,
Mhm.
and what movies got made and whatever, and all of so many of these movies that are just canon to us.
Yeah.
They were like didn't really open,
Right,
and you're like,
right,
oh, I don't
right.
care, like. I watched it 100,000 times on, like the Man with Two Brains, or
Yeah.
like that was just they just were movies, and
Yeah.
to like not worry too much
Mhm.
about like
How it does out
how
the
it
gate.
does,
Right.
Yeah.
how many
that-
theaters.
It is. You wonder like how many things are actually like we would actually love so much that it just get written off. I wonder about that all the time, like
Mhm.
with the way the industry is now. Like how many things aren't getting made
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
are actually going to be things that we think about in 15, 20 years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it feels very far and few between that you get something,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think movies still are tighter. Yeah, like I feel like
Yeah.
TV, because there's just so much more. Like you're getting Reservation Dogs, you're getting
Yeah.
Simon Rich's weird show where the
Yes.
Simon Elizabeth Bottoms felt like
Yeah,
Totally.
so refreshing. 'Cause
Well,
it was
she's
like so
incredible. Emma Seligman,
Mhm.
the director of
Mhm.
that,
Phenomenal.
she's like, I think she can do anything.
She can. I met her last
Between
night.
Shiva Baby and Bottoms,
I know,
it was
what?
like, and we
Yeah.
love Rachel.
We love
Yeah.
I mean,
Rachel.
They were
so
great.
it's happening.
Like,
Yeah.
and my daughter's 18, my older daughter,
Mhm.
and that is Bottoms is everything.
Yeah.
Really?
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's her Mean Girls in a way.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I mean, but it's that thing now with movies. It is this thing where like maybe we're just because we're like in it, we have some awareness. We're like reading like The Inkler or whatever. But I'm just like the survivorship bias of it all is really hitting me. Where I'm just like, oh yeah, if I think too hard about the things that aren't getting made, then I start to
Mhm.
Yeah.
I start to lose my mind a little. But It's fine.
I'm still going to the casting of Mean Girls. Did everyone audition for that? Like, did you get a tape from Lizzie Kaplan, or were you like?
Gosh, I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right? It just feels like that there can't have ever been a time when there was like not those people.
Not those
It's
people,
one of
I
those
know.
things. It's like
Yeah, I think so. And
Lindsay had worked with Mark before.
Lindsay was coming. She had a lot of heat coming off of Freaky Friday. And
There's also Mark Waters.
I think maybe. I
Yeah.
can't remember. We should fact check for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
And and she came, and I remember she came by SNL like just to like hang out and be seen because I think she wanted to be considered.
yeah.
She wanted to play Regina, which I think we talked about that.
Yes.
And Lauren was what always was like, no, you want that person to be the person who takes the trajectory to Regina.
Yeah.
He's like that. He's basically like that's the part that you want.
Wow.
And she was like, okay. People who like acted as kids also, they're just like, where do I stand and what do I say?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Miley Cyrus, where do I stand? What do I
Kiki
say?
Palmer, locked and
Kiki
loaded.
Palmer.
Kiki Palmer, everything.
Yep.
Kiki Palmer.
Which is why
Palmer
we
for
need to
president.
push more children into show
Yeah,
business.
100%.
We need
Break
to
them in.
feed the SNL host pipeline by ruining children.
If there is like some sort of surgical Neuralink type procedure to just to implant that thing in actors of just stand here, say it loud, say
Fast
it fast.
and loud. I never.
Yeah.
You guys had that at the same time too. That must
Yes.
be like a
Fast
thing.
and loud, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what Sudi would say that to, and then Celeste and I say that now, like to all the hosts. We're just like, just project. That's our thing. But we're nice about it. We're not like, we're just like, yeah, just
Fast
blow
and
through
loud.
it, fast and loud,
Mhm.
and it works.
I bet it does.
Anyway,
I mean, vibes were incredible.
vibes are incredible.
They really were. I mean, from home.
They were nice.
Yeah.
They were nice. Are you watching every week?
Not every single week, but I try. You know, what sort of got me back into the every week was Alice being old enough to and like wanting to stay up and watch it.
Uh-huh.
But she was not home last night because she was at the cast party for her own high school musical. She killed it. They all killed it. They were all great.
That
Amazing.
sounds like a tour de force.
All girls
opportunity.
production of the
Oh,
prom.
really?
Oh, that's even more. Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that.
I know, it was super cute.
Of the prom. Okay, so that is a hilarious
That's so
idea to
nice.
think about someone playing Dee Dee as like a child.
And by the way,
Like, but it's not
this
about
girl
me.
killed it.
Killed
Oh, I
it.
wish I
Of
had
course.
video for you because she killed
I
it.
bet. Oh my God, that's people are like, if you could do one role, what would it be? I'm like, I know
Dee Dee in the prom.
it'll never
Dee Dee in the
happen, but I'd love to do Dee Dee in the prom. When
Make that happen.
I had to do drag for the show I was in last year, and like I put this little wig on, like a little, side swoop, like not exactly
Mhm.
Catherine Zeta, but in the world. And I was
Yeah.
like, I think I am Dee Dee. I know I am.
You're Dee Dee.
You know Jeff, my husband Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah. So he always, not always, but often brings up that like back in musical theater, like major college,
Yeah.
that you had to take makeup class, and part of makeup class was always like you had to do drag or like you had to like
yeah,
do a
sure,
gender
sure.
swap with your makeup. And he really likes to brag that he looked. This may be too old a reference for you. But he's like, I was very pretty, and I looked like Barbara Mandrell.
Oh
Barbara
my
Mandrell.
God.
He's like, I was very pretty. I'm
Have
like,
you
all
seen
right.
photos? Could you confirm?
I have not seen photos.
Okay,
but
well.
You should tell him to put on a face again.
I know he has a beard right now, but
Oh, right.
he might shave it for the opportunity.
Yeah.
We might
To show
need-
off Barbara
For the shoot.
Mandrell.
Just tell him if he wants a stage, we do something called the Culture Awards every year. He's
Yes.
welcome to come out and give his
And then-
full Mandrell.
And then you can just like judge whether he still looks like Barbara Mandrell.
Oh, we're not
Barbara Mandrell, also, you're kind of almost there with the drag name anyway.
Totally. Mandrell. And then
Oh, yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
This is what we're
It's-
saying.
The opportunities looking
Yes.
riper and riper.
we're not going to judge him. We're it's going to be like a fucking VMA situation where he knows ahead of time that he's winning
gonna
the
win.
award.
We were saying that's the VMAs because the Grammys are today. And we're like, we
Oh,
think
yeah.
people don't know if they're going to win a Grammy, but I think you know if you're winning like a VMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Because Taylor Swift has changed her
Flight? No.
she's changed her flag. Yeah, she's changed her Instagram to all black and white, which we believe means there's an announcement coming.
Eminent.
And I'm like, well,
Ah.
I wonder
But you-
if Taylor
that's a
Swift could
gamble.
find out
That's
in
a gamble.
advance if she's winning a Grammy. But like, because if
Sure.
someone
Mm.
could, it's probably Taylor Swift,
Probably.
right?
Probably.
You don't
Yeah.
know what the Oscars, you don't know what the Emmys, you
No.
probably don't know what the Grammys.
Yeah.
It's not people's choice.
No.
You would know. You've won a ton of these things. They call you before?
No. I feel like I do remember one time with the Golden Globes, like Alec was nominated for 30 Rock and he was like, can we just call them and ask them if I won?
Yeah.
Because I felt like
Totally.
with that one, maybe you could have. And I
Yeah.
don't think he was able to.
Right.
And I don't remember if he won or not, he was like, surely this one, they'll just tell me if I have to go.
And well, I mean,
I bet they would.
if it's Alec, Whatever.
Well, especially the Globes at that time.
I know.
By the way,
Yeah.
your guys' host. Would you guys go back and host again? Or
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like it's a thing because we ended the last time we did it was this weird like Zoom one that was a bummer. But we did used to have so much fun doing that. We really did.
You guys were the best at it.
The Zoom
Thank
one can't
you.
be the period on the piece.
Oh, that's a tricky one. Yeah,
Not to put the pressure on.
I know, but we could either try to erase the Zoom one or Well, NBC doesn't own it anymore.
Right.
And me, you, Countess Luann, we work for NBC.
You got it.
We're Comcast, girl.
You don't wanna
Comcast
upset
for life.
Lou, who's in charge of NBC
No,
these
exactly.
days.
Right.
I will say she was on one the other night. She is alive up there.
Yeah.
Great.
She goes for it. And it's so funny because you watch the early seasons and you're like, this woman's never going to become a cabaret star. And then you go to 54 Below and she was doing covers of Oh, What a Night.
How do I ask this delicately? Has she been working on her singing?
Can I say?
Because everyone does.
It's so
Totally.
deeply
Taylor
doesn't-
Swift did.
Yeah, you know what? 100%.
Right.
Here's what I'll say. There is a quality to her voice that I think limits what it can do.
Yes, it's
period.
low and raspy.
It
right.
is so low.
It's a B. Arthur.
It's a Carol Channing.
It's a Channing, yeah.
It exists where it exists.
Right.
And so I think we're picking songs that it just the keys are 2 steps down from what they even are for the men she covers.
Yes.
But I will say there's something sort of there's something that's she really knows her range.
She's matching pitch.
100%. And you're never
pitch.
going to see her like go for the money note.
Right.
In fact, one time she did go for the money note, and it was more like I'm joyfully making a big sound than it is I'm hitting a note.
Yeah.
Which it's just about the selling and the delivery of it.
Yeah.
I think her range being what it is the perfect extra dimension to her performance. And I think she knows that now. And I think she's like, let me just have fun.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the best singer. And we're saying this with love, Lou. But
well, there's a lot of people who, if it's like if you know how to put your show together.
Yeah.
And give people, and also if people know what they're signing up for.
Yes.
We were signing up for 4 red sangrias I found.
Yeah.
And,
sangria. That is barf
I don't
juice.
know. I don't know what it was about it that made me feel like this is the drink tonight.
Sugar and
Wow.
wine. How
I don't
could
drink
you?
And this
Ooh-wee.
is also what got me really. I make like a quote unquote famous sangria, winter sangria for holidays. It's just so much booze, and I literally was just like, "Yay!" And I realized no one likes it as much as me, but because I made it, I feel it must get consumed. And then you're blacked out on Christmas, and I don't even get drunk like this. It's only when I'm drinking red sangria.
NYU before
God.
pre-21, if you didn't have a fake, the place to go was Little Italy. You would just order like a
House Chianti.
House Chianti. Well, no, you would order like a huge pitcher of sangria. And
Cottage too.
It got you there. Well, Cottage,
Wow.
it's Chinese restaurant.
Do you remember the restaurant?
Chinese food?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Chinese place. Cottage.
Yes.
So they're long
2 of us
gone
and,
now.
and Steph Shue of Everything Ever. Oscar-nominated Steph Shue would go there in college and get wasted at 19.
and drink red wine. What was that?
It was worse than $2 Chuck. It was something worse
like
than
so
$2 Chuck.
bad.
Fermented Welch's grape juice.
Yeah,
Yes,
100%. I had my birthday there. It was like a party of 25 underage kids getting so much of this red wine.
So much. But wait, in terms of putting together a show though, what just quickly was it like you and Amy being like, what do we want to do? Do we just want to sit down?
Because it would be easy to just do that. I mean, we do it all the time.
Right, just sit down and do a Q&A. We did this like a little test run at like Netflix is a joke last year. We did just mostly a Q&A and a couple little like really undercooked bits, and it was easy and fun. But we sort of thought like, oh, we should have a little bit of structure. And so we do. I feel like this is a really nice little structure. I don't know if I should give it away because we may keep touring, but like, it has sort of 4 parts. There are wardrobe changes.
Oh, love.
There are 1 to 4 wigs.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Depending on the night. There is a little bit of improv.
Okay.
There's a little bit of stand-up.
Come on.
And
a special guest.
And a special guest. And so, so the structure reminded us of Golden Globes times because we always have such it's over 30 years since that we know each other.
Very special.
So we do really have a shorthand of like, what if we go XYZ? Like there's no ego in it. There's like, and also we both been producing things for a long time. So I feel like I do feel proud. I feel like we're giving the white women that come to see us and other people too, but Let's not fool ourselves.
And 30-something Asian gay men.
And beautiful Asian gay men. All are welcome. I feel like we're giving people like what they want,
Yeah.
From y'all.
but in a way, but also it's like hopefully a little bit surprising as it goes along. And the answer is like it. Basically, I was on set. We were finishing filming the Mean Girls movie in Middletown, New Jersey, and Amy and I had been working like once a week over Zoom, being like talking about what the show could be, whatever. And then we had from the day I finished, and it was a very tiring, fast shoot. It was like a lot of late nights and whatever, and then we had like, so that was, say I finished on like the Monday, and then like the Saturday, we were like, our test show was in Port Chester. So she came and we had like 3 or 4 days. It was very much like the Golden Globes. We were like, okay, we got this. And we just sort of finished figuring out the show, and we've honed it some since, but it is sort of like, when you write stuff and it's born quickly and it just comes right out, it's usually a good sign.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
And the structure kind of just slipped right out, so.
When did you realize there was like music to you and Amy? Like, I wonder, like, so you guys have always been like friends. And
Yeah.
I think, I don't know how true this is, but like you were at SNL and like put her name in their ears and then she came. Like,
Yeah, so we started, we started together at Improv Olympic.
Yeah.
Sharna Halpern said to both of us, "This girl, you don't like this girl. We'll put you on the same team." And we were the only
So
2
fun.
girls on a team inside Vladimir. And
Which is a
That's really
gay
good.
porn title?
that's what it was named after. Yeah, it was named after a gay porn VHS tape that was on display at JJ Pepper's on Clark and Broadway.
Oh my God.
And
huge for them.
And
stars
I
of
remember
Inside
we also
Vladimir.
were like, we named it after that. And then as a team, we were like, we should all watch it once as a group. And then we're like, oh, we watched like the first 10 minutes, and then people drifted to other parts of the party, except for like 1 or 2 of the straight guys that just hung in.
Yeah, right? Code switching icons.
Yeah, yes. And so we toured together, and then she and we were both understudies for the main stage, and she was 100% the A team and I was the B team. Like I remember one time Kelly Leonard was like, so-and-so's going, Dratch is going on vacation, and Amy she can do all of the nights except 1. And I was like, so I get it? And he's like, no, she's gonna do all the nights except 1, and you're gonna go on 1 time. And I was like, okay. And then she left to go do the UCB show in New York.
Yeah.
And then I did main stage, literally only because she left, or I would have been waiting another 2 years behind her. I was John Glazer's understudy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, John
in
Glazer.
Pinata Full of Bees.
Huge.
And he is such like a gender neutral in his comedy that I just was like, yeah, you can just step right in.
Totally.
Because it's all just like wonderful weirdness. And
Matt and I
so,
both read for a John Glazer assistant part
And
in the
you
show,
both.
and I backed one. We love you, John. He and his wife listen to the podcast. Anyway,
Oh, they're
hi,
the
John.
best.
Yeah, they're the best.
So
I see
great.
them on Fire Ant sometimes in the summer.
Ooh.
By the way, I didn't even mean to do this, but I realized I had my merch.
There you
Fire
go.
Island Pines.
Show it. Sorry.
Go.
We cut you off.
So then I ended up trying to get a writing job at SNL, and Adam McKay hired me,
Mhm.
and I started. And then so at some point, I guess after the UCB TV show ended, I was like, but would you ever come over here? Would you ever audition? And I feel like it was sort of brokered that she was like, basically like, I am not doing 3 through the door. Like I'm not. I
Totally.
like I'm too established to
Uh-huh.
come with my characters and my box of wigs. And so it was some kind of in between. It was more like a camera test.
Right.
There was something where it was like, I'm not going to work too hard.
I
There was-
see.
Oh.
Yeah. Forever the Enneagram 8, the Challenger.
Enneagram 8. What is that one? The Challenger?
Yes, that's it.
What are
And
you? Do you know you?
3,
I'm 3.
What
I
is
think I'm
3?
3. What is 3 again?
the Achiever.
Damn, I didn't mean to.
Oh, now that I know this is a thing, I'm going to become obsessed with it. I
Amy's
need to know
obsessed
my
with
thing.
it.
Oh, yeah.
You need to take the test tonight.
Okay.
What's it? Oh, Amy's an 8.
Amy's an 8.
Oh,
Is it 1 through 8?
It's 1 through 9.
9.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's 9?
No, I forget what 9 is because I don't know a lot of 9s.
Dangerous.
What's it called? Like it's like I'm an Enneagram 3 Echo 4. What is it
A
called?
wing.
Wing 4.
Wing 4.
I think I'm Wing 4, and I forget what 4 is, but
Oh, this is
that's
exciting.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to take over
Do
your
you
life.
do you ever dabble in your astrology?
I know I'm a Taurus. I don't believe so much in astrology because
Mhm.
it's random, but and again, I'm not the Enneagram stuff. It's because I've been on tour with Amy for the last 17 weekends, so we're talking about
And
a lot.
Yeah.
But I do put more stock in it because it's based on you answer a million
Correct.
Yes,
questions.
yes.
So it's
and
actually
it's like based on you and what you
qualitative.
think and how you react.
Right.
Correct.
That's the weird word, qualitative.
Yeah. So I guess like with the you and Amy thing, like, would you consider yourselves opposites?
No, we're not opposites.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because
We're not-
it presents as that in the comedic duo, which I guess
Yeah,
is and we've
in
been talking about this a lot, being this, but like
Yes.
it's funny how you present
Our
that
so
and are
personas are opposites,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's more like I'm sort of tightly buttoned up, and then she's more like little like
I'm gonna jump
Boston
off a bridge.
dirtbag or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're both actually pretty bossy. But yeah, to answer your question, like when did I realize that we're sort of more powerful together?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember before, like Jimmy, I was doing an update with Jimmy, and then he left, and I felt very abandoned because I was like, he left. He left.
We had a good thing going,
and I did tests with other people and stuff, and then Lauren was doing that Lauren thing. He was like, "What do you think?" Like leaving it sort of up to me, and there was part of me that was like, "Oh God, I think I'm supposed to want to do this by myself."
Right.
Like that's the power move. But I was like, but I'm a sketch person. I'm not a
you
stand-up
wanted a partner.
And at the very last minute, I remember I was coming back. This is too much information. I was coming back from a train trip from Washington, D.C., where I had weirdly and presciently taken a photograph for the cover of, I don't know what.
Was it the John McCain thing?
With John McCain.
Yeah.
In 2000, whatever, but way before 2008. And I had to make the decision on the Amtrak ride back.
Wow.
And I called Amy and I was like, would you do me the great honor of being my wife? And then it just worked from there. And I think by the time the Globes and the Hillary and Sarah, all of it all, it just was like, oh, people do like us together.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the music to it that you're asking about.
Yes. I mean, because it feels like, again, it feels like that thing that always was, but there had to be a time when it was decided, oh yeah, this feels really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's it just feels like this synergistic thing that must have always been.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it kind of has been for a long, maybe the credit goes to Sharna.
I mean, it sounds like, yeah.
But in terms of you guys building out the structure for the show, for Restless Leg, that is interesting to hear about because I feel like with Globes, it was you guys looking at the established structure of what an award show looks like and then being like, let's go out with mustaches and be nominees for Dog President, a movie called Dog President. You know what I mean?
I mean,
form breaking. I was I remember just watching, I was with my friends watching that first year of the Globes and just being like, oh my God, this is incredible.
This was also the joke structure they handed to you guys, which they don't do anymore, which as a woman who ... in a ... dog president.
Yes.
I love that
I miss that
format. And I was I wish they would do that because sometimes they would just describe it in such a weird way and they're on the actor
and she has to nod.
As a total idiot. You know what I mean?
Total idiot who looks terrible until the end.
Yeah, who looks terrible even now.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore.
Matt Rogers, Dog President.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the things I think we knew from, I felt that we brought producer brain to the table when we did the Globes. We were front load it.
Yes.
Don't come out. And I've watched other award shows since where I've been like, oh, no, my darling.
Yeah.
At the end of the Oscars, don't come out at 10:50 with a long ass bit.
No.
Everyone's tired. Everyone who's still in the room has lost.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
So front load it. Don't go too long.
Right.
Work the room. And also literally just say who you are and remind people how they know you. I feel like we had just, training from SNL of just watching a million monologues.
That's a Lauren thing of okay, most times you're gonna be in the cold open and monologue and before update, that's above the fold in terms of newspaper speak. Right. It's that's, and it's common sense to us, but it's also things that I guess people don't think of all the time. And that's okay. But it's also we're lucky that I feel like the biggest boon of working there is to see a different version of, let's just say fame every week. And then to be oh, I can behaviorally adjust myself based on what I'm witnessing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. Which of these paths seems like a good path? And
that sounds weird to say, but I don't know.
And so speaking of the famous of it all, I wonder you've probably met everyone at this point, but then you're in the Golden Globes room and it's literally is there anyone who throws you off?
That is a great question. I have to say, after so much time at SNL and also just being 53, where you're just I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And you've seen so many waves of culture and you're guess who used to be a big deal and isn't anymore? Whoever you are, it will pass, right?
Totally.
So and also having had to go make crazy phone calls and have crazy meetings and be I've had to do things can you call Mariah Carey and ask her for the rights to, this song? And and once you've done I don't know if I can think of a person that I'd be you're such a big deal.
Because even Oprah has been your colleague.
I have met Oprah. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, on one of the most iconic.
So there you go.
But the winning over Mariah is huge. Yeah. Because you got her with Mean Girls and you have her for life.
She loves Mean Girls.
She loves Mean Girls.
I know, and I love her.
Wrote a whole song about it.
One of her best songs.
Yeah.
To our
You're so obsessed with me. Yeah.
Do you like the new? The Reneé and Megan song?
Love it. I love it.
It's all I'm listening to. Do you like it?
I listen to it all the time.
Do you like it?
Reneé is a real one.
A real star.
She's a real star.
A real star.
her.
She came on this podcast then. It's like her voice in that movie. I mean, and just I know.
Yeah.
Were you at the Jimmy Awards?
I was
when she
at the
won?
Jimmy Awards.
Do you know this?
With Brandon
You
Scott.
were at the Jimmy Awards?
There.
Me, Joel Kim Booster, Brandon Scott Jones,
Cruising.
Matt
You were
Whitaker,
cruising.
Cruising.
We were cruising. Oh no! We were there, and then Reneé came out, and then Laura Benanti was hosting the whole thing and being like, and just on stage, Laura Benanti saying like, if I had the confidence of that girl, I would have no problems. And it was just, you could tell from that night.
Yeah, she's a star.
It was just.
And the kid that won was Andrew Barthélemy.
Andrew
In the
Yes.
Jennifer Lawrence movie, No Hard Feelings.
Yes,
Great
and
performance.
Evan Hansen, right?
Evan Hansen.
Yes.
Evan Hansen.
That was a big year for the Jims.
Yeah, the Jimmys. The Jimmys are the future.
100%.
The other thing that I loved about Reneé on SNL was her live vocal was
she's
right up front in that mix. Right up front.
Right in the zone.
Mhm.
Totally.
You could hear it was live.
Yeah,
Aw.
100%.
She was great vibes. And then at the after party, she was like, I don't do like big spaces. I was like, you're so cool. Great Americans.
Great Americans.
Great
Reneé Rapp.
Americans.
I think it's time to move on.
Shall we move to I Don't Think So, Honey? Okay, so this is the segment, Tina, where we
Yes.
take 1 minute to rant and rave against something in culture. And I'm going to get a little specific, and I apologize to you in advance.
Oh, no.
But I think you need to make some changes.
Oh, God.
I know, but don't be scared.
Okay. This is
Okay.
Matt Rogers. I don't think so, honey. About me, I guess. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Bowen Yang, no deodorant in your dressing room.
Oh, get out.
Because I think it's like it's a staple, right?
I don't need it. I don't need it, babe.
My thing is like I needed it. And you remember that you have guests. And some of them are going to be in that hot little stuffy dressing room when your dressing room is stuffy. And I'm turning around and as I said before, no, not a deodorant in sight in my apartment. Only Axe, which I didn't find till this morning. I feel like, Bowen, we need to rethink and restock your dressing room with the essentials.
30 seconds.
Because there's a lot of fancy good whiskey and no deodorants, nothing that's going to actually get us to the end of the day, the end of the week.
Oh.
Because it was smelling in there and I apologize to you. But you had a lot of men in your dressing room last night, and
15 seconds.
It stank by the end of it. And I'm telling you, like, I just couldn't believe you didn't have your little essentials. You do have a lot of good cologne.
I do,
And
which is better than Axe. 5
I know.
seconds.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of the sweat and the antiperspirant, you could be doing better. I don't think so.
And that's 1 minute. I had Tums available for our friend Dave because he had an upset stomach.
Yeah.
I have so many other. This is the thing about working at SNL that I'm never going to get over. You could have had the worst week professionally, not the worst week, but just a rough week or just at the show.
It feels bad.
And then you still have to host your friends and make sure they have ice and get drinks for them. I'm like, this is the thing that I don't love.
And
that
then your aunt and uncle are coming to, take them to the party.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's a light show for me. And
I will say I did check myself when I think it was a couple years ago, like a few of us were in your dressing room just like having the time. And I think it was like a week where you were having a hard time. You came and we were just like,
what do you mean?
But just because like you don't want to be like, woo, like come on, get on up on our level when it's like I am at work still. And I do respect that.
I'm sorry, they didn't have deodorant. I'll get.
I just felt bad because I reeked.
You needed to have a little basket, like in a wedding, wedding reception, ladies' room with like mints, deodorant.
Yeah. I have Grother's pastilles. I'm gonna get mints and deodorant.
He does have Grother's pastilles because does everyone know where you got the Grother's pastilles? Yeah, and tampons.
Yeah, and tampons. Cynthia Erivo gave me Grother's pastilles.
Cynthia Erivo gave him the best singer lozenge in the world.
Yeah, it's great. Io Debris, also big Grother's pastilles.
Big Grother's pastilles?
Yeah, she had them at
all the
Cabaret.
greats.
Well, I'm sorry. I will do my best to.
No, I'm kidding. I just didn't want to smell so bad.
That's okay.
And also, I'm being a little I'm erring on the side of caution on my I Don't Think So, Honey, because I got absolutely dragged for the one I did last week, which was people should not be riding Taylor Swift so hard for the private jet usage. Because you don't want her to ride commercial.
I saw that. And you're like, what is she going to fly? And like have a
Is she going to be in Delta? Yeah. In the Delta Lounge?
The Delta Lounge.
Yeah.
I was teasing everyone, and the girls absolutely dragged me because I'm harmful.
No.
I'm harmful.
You're
Don't
the
worry.
real problem.
I'm the real problem. Apologize to everyone.
I've got one.
Okay, Bowen Yang.
I might be biting the hand.
Oh, baby.
We'll see.
This is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. My co-host doing ads for The Tiger's Apprentice, now streaming on Paramount Plus, and naming off the cast list: Henry Golding, Greta Lee, Sandra Oh, Michelle Yeoh, but no mention of Bowen Yang of me.
Didn't.
I normally don't mind,
Okay.
but it's my own podcast. I'm giving Paramount a platform. I saw Mean Girls in theaters 4 times. I went to go see Mean Girls the musical
Why wasn't
2024.
Bowen Yang's name?
I'm a supporter of Paramount, of CBS, of Viacom. I've had many wonderful experiences
30
working with Viacom, CBS, and I can't even get a damn mention in the ads and the promo material for this movie that I had a great time doing. I play Sydney the Rat.
15
It's a movie
seconds.
where the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac team up to fight an evil in San
sounds good.
Francisco.
Oh.
Michelle Yeoh plays the villain. And a
5
mutual
seconds.
coworker with our guest Tina.
Mhm.
Thank you for doing that.
But Paramount, please put me in the damn credits.
And that's 1 minute. I personally like to apologize for not improvising in the ad that you were in.
But I don't think. But deadass, you did not know that I was in that movie.
No, deadass, I do know that you're in the movie, but you know what it's like to do ads, and this is sort of a peek behind the curtain. It usually happens at the end of a podcast when you just want to leave.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're like, coming soon to Paramount Plus. It's going to be everyone but Bowen. All right, see you later, everybody. I
just want to
apologize.
say when I love
I
that.
didn't go to the mat for you.
When I Love That For You came out and we were doing ads for I Love That For You, I made sure to really make your name an emphatic part of that.
Thank you,
I
sister.
just expected better from you.
You're a better friend
Oh,
than I am.
from
I expected better from you as one of the
Really
hardest,
hard.
harshest things
Can you
to
imagine
hear.
if Amy said that to you?
draft.
If your best friend and comedy partner said, I expected better from you on the air.
Oh my
William
gosh,
said that to you?
that's
Just
rough.
happened.
Yeah.
That's rough.
No, I
Anyway.
expect better for myself. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And from now on, I will always say your name. I'll sneak your name into projects you're not even in.
Thank you.
And then maybe just like, and you have deodorant for me. Let's have each other's backs more in the future. Because there's a magic here and there's a music
There's
here.
a music here.
And I've always known it.
That's an equivalent exchange.
You're the Tina and Amy of your generation.
You know what? What if?
Don't.
Should we host the Globes? Are you?
By the way,
are you passing down the
yes,
crown?
you should host the Globes together.
That room is going to be like, who the fuck are those guys?
No,
Well, they wouldn't
no,
say
they
that
would
to
not.
Two Joe Coys. They'd be like, who?
No,
They're like, who is
Well,
that
I said
guy?
to Bowen, I
they
was like,
would be like, it's Joel Kim Booster.
yeah.
Because that keeps happening to you guys.
Yes. And they'll be like,
And
that's
Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto.
No, but you really should do that because together are so much more fun.
I would
I would
love
only
to
do it with someone, with you.
I said we should. I'm throwing our name in there. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And Bowen was like, no, not the Globes. And I was like, well, I think they're back. I think now we know they're back. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Sure.
they're back. Yeah.
But-
Joe Coy also in The Tiger's Apprentice.
Oh, great.
He plays the rooster.
That's amazing.
We can
Stunning.
we can lose all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I think so. Okay.
Okay.
So I will say I was kind of sweating this because
Yeah.
I, again, I'm 53. I have nothing but opinions, right? I have violent opinions about
Yeah.
everything, but I'm also constantly afraid of getting in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to audition some? Or we're
no,
gonna
I think
cut all
I'm
this?
in an okay area now, but I think, but it also I do have backups if we do it, and you'd be like, no, do a different one.
If we're like, no, you'll get
No.
crucified for
But
that.
I was thinking about my own fear of crucifixion, and it led me to my choice of topic.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go.
Okay,
This
so
is-
and I may look at my phone because I'm old. Okay,
You have to. This is Tina Fey's I Don't Think So, Honey. Time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Bowen Yang giving his real opinions about movies on this podcast. I regret to inform you that you are too famous now,
Damn
sir.
I know.
What's going to happen? You having a problem with Saltburn? Shh. Quiet luxury. Keep it to yourself because what are you going to do when Emerald Fennell calls you about her next project
She ain't.
where you
Colin.
play Carrie Mulligan's coworker in the bridal section of Harrods and then Act 3 takes a sexually violent turn and
30
you have to
seconds.
pretend to be surprised by that turn. You have to have a clean paper trail, nothing negative. Everything everyone does is amazing, okay?
Oh.
You hang out with Ariana and SpongeBob. Now that is your life. Okay. And Matt Rogers, I can tell you, you got about 1 year left. And
I
then
know.
learn from my mistakes, learn from IO. Podcasts are forever.
5 seconds.
Authenticity is dangerous and expensive. I don't think so, honey.
This is actually, that's 1 minute.
Wow,
and that is so
that's
real.
an all-timer.
It's an all-time, and they're starting to come for us, the people that listen to this, and like they don't say their real opinions, and it's like, yeah, I don't think that anyone needs that.
But they're also,
sometimes
It
I
gets
can't
hard.
help it.
It gets harder.
I know. I bet it does.
and then they're also digging through our stuff and being like, well, there was a period when they didn't like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, there
What
was
about
actually a
that? And we're
period
like,
where they didn't like them. So to hear them be so sycophantic now is really crazy. They call us bootlickers. I'm like, you guys, it's a walk doing this.
It's a dangerous dance.
Yes.
And it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's really crazy because the fact is we do have strong opinions about almost everything.
And that's what people want and why it's authentic. But also,
what do I do when Emerald calls?
what are you going to do when,
But I personally, and I cannot expect this of everyone, if someone's not a fan of one thing that I've done, if someone was like, I didn't love Fire Island, I'll be like, no problem. I'll still be in a sketch with you. I'll still like take a meet. You know what I mean?
But if Emerald Fennell, if I'll still take a meeting, if Emerald Fennell had gotten on a podcast and absolutely destroyed Fire Island and said, this is bad, I didn't get the performances, and Emerald Fennell said the words, I don't think Bowen Yang has ever pulled it off. You would feel crazy.
I would feel crazy, but I'd be like, I was like, no problem.
But she's entitled. That Emerald.
I forgot my one note that I didn't get to was the bottom was going to be, I don't expect you to stand with Dave Chappelle at good nights. I'm not a monster. I'm not crazy, but I do need you to hug Mark Cuban like he is your long lost father, like Jimmy did. And also, why did Jimmy do that? Why was Jimmy hugging Mark Cuban
Jimmy can do whatever
like
he
they
wants.
won the Super Bowl together?
Jimmy was so happy. I know, but Jimmy was so nice and he sent me Milk Bar cookies.
Well, that's why Jimmy's the best, because
Jimmy's
he's
the best.
capable of joy.
Oh my God, no. And we need that. And I was... By the way, people are like reading me for like in the Very Good Talk Show sketch, like looking agitated and bored. I was like, no, I was like
playing in the sketch.
I was playing in the sketch and being like, oh, the guests are supposed to be like a little perplexed. I was like, you guys. But that was fantastic.
Honestly, though, this is a genuine question. How would you do this podcast? You know what I mean? Like, if you're us, how would you continue to do this podcast, which started in 2016 when we thought there's no way anyone will ever listen to it even once.
Yeah.
And we sort of established this thing of like, we see things, we talk about it, we're honest, we have our little fun with things in the pop culture. And then all of a sudden, that does become hard because someone who might be a dear sister to you, might be
right. I mean, I do think you guys are thoughtful and gentle. And if you say you don't like something, it's not just like being just to be jerks. So, you obviously we're very thoughtful about those movies, but it does become a thing where it's like, do you want to be people who keep it real and have their podcast forever? Or do you want to be goddamn movie stars?
Oh my God. What if it's the former?
Then
I think we're doing amazing.
Doing amazing. But like my trail of mistakes lives behind me like fucking Jacob Marley's train, like just chains of shame. Like I like from like, oh, I'll just use this real name from my high school in Mean Girls, and then hit this person like that wasn't even like. It just like I liked their name. Like it's nothing to do with them.
Yes.
And then I'm like, that's a level of shame.
And you hear they're now going impatient because of what you've done.
I mean, God forbid. And then like update jokes that you're like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. And then you're like, oh right. And then like whatever. Like just I like so many kinds of these mistakes that you're like, why did I?
Right.
What?
Especially the thing with the IO thing. It's like. So someone like J-Lo is so famous and has been so famous for such a long time that literally everyone in the world has said something probably incredibly positive and negative about her just because that's like a colloquialism almost. And so for her to get dragged so much for this, not only do I think it's like uncool, but I'm like, guys, this is not a Pandora's box we want to open of let's dig up everything everyone said on the internet.
No kidding.
It will be an apocalypse.
That sketch was like, why'd you say it? That was funny too.
That was great.
They threw that line in after Friday, after that news broke. Anyway, it was just fortuitous or the opposite in terms of like it's Io and J-Lo being on the same bill for SNL. Like that's the only reason I got that.
Yeah, that's like even that is just like, guys, it's just I don't think anyone's gonna stand by every single thing they've ever said. And it is tough. And then when a lot of people do start listening, there is a weird rub. And so like honestly, that I don't think So Honey comes at a really interesting time because I was thinking about it a lot. I catch it all the time. And like I honestly also sometimes I only ever think, don't take my opinion seriously. I'm like a dummy with a podcast. Like I'm just trying to have fun with this, but people do take it very seriously.
And that's not up to you.
And that's not up to me. And also like, however, and I've literally never heard from like an artist or anyone that's done anything out there and said what you said on your podcast really hurt me.
Right.
But like, I don't know if I were to hear that, I would certainly feel bad.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't want anyone to feel anything but good after having listened to it, but it is a thing.
Yeah. That was a good impartment. Is that a word?
You've imparted on us.
You've imparted on us.
And I think it's been so long since we've been imparted on.
Open a window.
Tina.
We imparted it here.
Oh yeah, to be imparted in this way. Woo, we needed it. Well, this was just a joy and a half.
Oh, what a delight to talk to you.
Thanks for
I
joining
enjoyed
us.
the podcast so much.
Thank you for even saying that. And I just mean like truly like this was wish fulfillment for us to say the least.
Yeah.
To even have you here and even know who the hell we are. So this is
absolute pleasure.
oh my gosh.
We love you.
We love you a lot. And this is going to be where we end. Oh, by the way, get tickets to the show. Is it all sold out?
It's all sold out.
The Beacon might be sold out.
Yeah,
We still have a show coming
Seattle
in
and Oregon.
Seattle. Thank you for knowing that. In Portland, there might still be tickets because we have to go back because the city froze and we had to cancel the show.
Right.
But everyone who was mad on Twitter, if you couldn't get to the show that still happened, I think you can get tickets.
Great.
Like we're doing the right thing. So everyone calm down.
Calm down, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's real culture number
I'm pretty
8.
sure. Yeah.
Calm down, we're doing the right thing.
That's just generally applicable.
And then let me see, what else should I be professional about? Oh, yeah. Girls Five Eva.
Yes.
Meredith Scardino's amazing show.
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
All 3 seasons come to Netflix. So you can see Bowen Yang. You can see so many wonderful people. I believe March 14th. I hope I'm right about that.
March 14th.
Yeah.
One of our dearest friends, Matt Whitaker.
Oh, the best.
I know, who you know and love.
I love Matt Whitaker.
Yeah,
I still text with him sometimes.
He's a big. We saw Appropriate the other night on Broadway together. He's a great theater going friend.
Yes, he is great.
Yes.
He sees everything.
He sees it
everything.
all.
And then Mean Girls 2024
Mean Girls
still in
2024.
theaters.
My mom and aunt saw it the other night, and their review was this. We loved it. You know, it was different because it was a musical.
Yeah.
And I said that was.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was like, oh, I can't do this and I'll get in trouble. I want to be like, I don't think so, honey. Little Broadway cunts on TikTok complaining about 2 lines of Revenge Party when I bring you fucking Reneé Rapp.
Yeah.
I bring you Ali Cravalho, Jaquel Spivey.
Jaquel.
This is why we can't have
How do I say
nice things.
Avantika?
Avantika.
She
showed up to the after party yesterday. I was like,
she did.
I was like, that's fucking.
Yeah, when the original movie came out, she wasn't born.
No, this is. See, and I wonder if that's going to happen is like now we're going to start watching it and it's going to look like in terms of fashion, like really dated. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, no, it's becoming the Clueless of it all. Where you watch Clueless now and you're like, oh, can you imagine why wearing that? It's going to be like that so soon.
No, but for me, like the fashions of those movies are like Frozen and Amber. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
because they're all back now. If you walk out the room looking like Sharon Dion, you'll get the coolest bitch at the party.
It's not even the loop back around. It's just like, no, that just kind of looks cool in the world of the movie. Anyway. Okay, we end every episode with a song. It's not my fault. You can't sing only with me. It's not my fault. Now, who wouldn't want to fall in love with me? I haven't moved on.
Are you off book?
Pinterest me. No, I don't know.
Okay, well, you should be off book.
You should be off book.
Readers.
Bye.
Oh, yay.
Yay, thanks